Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here. Welcome back to the Evil Within Classic difficulty walkthrough. We are moving on to Chapter 4, Behind the Curtain. So, we just finished off Chapter 3, which is probably the longest chapter in the game. It's one of the tougher chapters in the game, but now we're in a good position because in Chapter 3, we got the sniper rifle, we got the shotgun, we got the crossbow, and we even opened up the entrance to the safe house on the north end of this map. Now, the reason that's a good thing, and the reason I told you to do it, is because now at the beginning of Chapter 4, we're going to have to go all the way from the south safe house to the north safe house. And outside of the north one, there's going to be one of those ghost-type ladies. So you can actually see one off in that parking lot right there with that green mist around her. There's going to be another one of those outside of the entrance. So it makes it harder to open that entrance if you haven't done so already. Now, what I'm going to do to get there is I'm going to basically take the exact path I used when I went from the north to the south safe house, because this is by far the safest path. I challenge you to find a safer path through the city, safer than this one, because there are no enemies on this street. So save for that parking lot that we just passed, there are no enemies on this street. Now, in this chapter, there are going to be two at the end of, or one at the end of the street, sometimes two, maybe one. But they are really not in your way, so I don't really count them. But you're just going to stick to this street the entire time. Very simple, and I'm actually going to show you where to get another key. So this key we could have gotten back in Chapter 3, but I'll be honest, I didn't know about it, and I just kind of accidentally stumbled on it during my Chapter 4 playthrough. So over to the left, leaning against that truck, you can see one of the enemies. Sometimes there will be a second lost over there. And if that's the case, just kind of go around this house here and then re-emerge on this path right here. Or you can probably just sneak past it like I'm doing now. It's just that if that second lost is there, it might be a bit more challenging. But yeah, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. I don't know why that is, but that's just how it works. Now the fourth statue that I was talking about is going to be right here. So let's go ahead and smash that, grab it, and keep on keeping on. Alright, so again, just stick to this path. I'm telling you, this path is unbelievably safe. The reason you don't want to go through the middle of the city, you might be tempted to do that because there's a lot of tall grass and bushes to hide in, but believe it or not, that will be more damaging here because in the tall grass, there are hidden enemies. There are hidden lost, and then as you saw at the end of Chapter 3, there are now those two-headed, four-legged creatures running around, so we have to be careful of them as well. And so now we're going to approach the safe house. And so remember, back in Chapter 3, like I said, we already opened the door to the safe house. And if you remember, inside of that door, there was an enemy that we killed. Now, the reason we did that back in Chapter 3 is because none of these other enemies were around. So we had the freedom to do that. However, now you could see off in the distance, there's the ghost-looking enemy. And so you can imagine that if you haven't yet opened the safe house, it would be a bit harder to do with this enemy patrolling. It's not impossible. I mean, if you really want to, you just have to shoot an electrical bolt or a shock bolt at the electrical panel, open the door, and then run inside. Maybe just run past the enemy and then get into the safe room. So if you haven't already done that, I'm not sure. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult, but just know that that's something I did back in Chapter 3 in anticipation of this event. Alright, so now that I've waited and I have a clearing, I'm going to run right into here. And again, like I said, if you haven't already opened this, you will have to open it for the first time. And now we're going to have a conversation with Kidman before we jump into the Marrow.
Kidman, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What have you got for me?
The good news is that I located O'Neill, and he was able to get me on the trail to find Lily.
That's great.
The bad news is that Union is literally falling apart around me, and it's mostly populated by corpses and monsters. Oh, and that psycho I told you about, the one with the powers he shouldn't have, he's got Lily. I'm getting ready to head into the Marrow, which you neglected to tell me about, to get to him.
I'm sorry we didn't have time for a briefing before sending you in, but we didn't think it would be this bad.
It's just as bad as Beacon in here. No, it's worse. My daughter wasn't stuck in Beacon.
Okay, calm down. Maybe I can help you out. Can you give me any information on this person?
Male, about 5'10", black hair. He fancies himself as some sort of artist.
That's not much to go on.
Tell me something I don't know. I'm on my way to City Hall. I'll call you later. So this is the computer O'Neill was talking about. Let's try that password.
Alright guys, so as usual from now on I'm just going to skip the loading screens while we're traveling to and from the Marrow, because those are just unnecessary. I wanted to show the first one so you guys could see what it was like, but other than that it'll just be a waste of time. But here we go. We're going to get on with Chapter 4. So Chapter 4 basically entirely takes place from here on out within the Marrow. We're going to have kind of a big fight to deal with. Kind of a challenging fight, but again I'm going to show you what I believe to be the best strategy for this fight. And then after that fight, Chapter 4 really isn't much of a problem. It's just going to take a little bit of patience. There's going to be a bit of stealth involved. But, alright, so now I'm going to go into this room here. Notice how I have my shock bolts equipped. There's a body right here that you can scavenge. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm about to do one of the stupidest things I've ever done in a video game. Now, usually, when I do something stupid, I would just restart the checkpoint so that I don't have to include it in the walkthrough, but when you're playing on Classic mode, restarting the checkpoint is not a luxury you have, because you're going to revert back all the way to your save location. So you'll see right here, that's where we need to go. Now, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to be an idiot. I'm going to turn around, well, I'm going to pick up some ammo, or at least show you where the ammo is. There's shotgun ammo in this crate right here, but yeah, so now I'm going to be an idiot. I'm going to use a shock bolt to open this large garage door right here, thinking there's something on the other side worth going after. I failed to recognize that this door was simply here as a way to get to where we just came from. And I still haven't realized that yet. I sincerely thought I opened a secret passage and I was going to be able to bypass things. I am embarrassed to admit it, but that's what I did. So I'm walking in this area right now thinking, oh wow, there's nothing here. I must have found a really cool secret way to get around this level. And it was around this time right here when I opened this door and saw, you guessed it, the control room that we just passed 10 seconds ago, that I started to think, wait a second, what in the hell did I just do? And then of course, the one time I make this mistake is the time that I actually successfully beat the level and keep the recording. I'm speechless. That's just how things work out. It's unbelievable. So you can see I'm walking around still. I still haven't figured it out. I'm still thinking, wait, where am I? And then I realized, oh my god, I just wasted a shock bolt opening a door that did not need to be opened. Not one of my finer moments, but hopefully the strategies I've given you so far in previous levels and the strategies I will continue to give you, hopefully those make up for my idiotic moments. Jesus, that was, oh, I can't believe I did that. But let's keep going. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this area here, and there are going to be 3 haunted lying on the ground. Then you're going to see this guy right here taking a nap. I'm going to shoot him in the head with my shotgun, and then I'm going to stomp on him, because sometimes one shotgun shot is not enough to get the job done, so you can finish him off with a stomp. Now I'm going to equip my sniper rifle. I'm going to kill this guy across the way, and I'm going to kill another guy on the floor. Now, you're probably asking, Nick, why are you wasting ammo on enemies that aren't alive? And that would be a reasonable question. However, what's going to happen is we are going to have to trigger a lockdown. And during the lockdown, of course, enemies are going to ambush us. So by killing these enemies right off the bat before they're actually active, we're saving ourselves some trouble down the road. So it's a little bit of a is anticipatory a word? It's a bit of an anticipatory action. I'm not sure if that's a word, but to simplify it, we are doing this in anticipation of said ambush. So again, shotgun shot to the head, stomp to finish the job. It's really inconsistent. Sometimes one shotgun shot is enough to kill the enemy. Sometimes you have to follow up with a stomp. So I prefer to stand as close as I can to maximize the damage with the shotgun so that hopefully I don't have to do the stomp. But here we go. One more enemy right here. Get as close as I can. Now, I don't know how he got up. I call bullshit on that. And so you might be hesitant to do this because you might be thinking, I don't want to waste the ammo, but I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way past this fight. The lockdown will not stop until all of the enemies are destroyed. So you have to use ammo here. There's no other way around it. I think there's an oil spill somewhere that you can use, but I just don't think it's worth it. Getting enough enemies to actually stand on the oil spill is hard enough, let alone when you're under the pressure of running away and whatnot. Or it might not be oil, there might be water on the floor, and you can use a shock bolt to electrify the enemies. But I'm not really going to focus on that. But anyway, so since I used my shotgun to take out some of those initial enemies that weren't yet active, before I trigger the lockdown, I'm going to run back into here to pick up those shotgun shells that I found earlier, but I couldn't at the moment pick up. And so one of my thoughts when I was approaching this was I thought, hey, once I trigger the lockdown, I'll run back into this room, and then if things get hectic, I'll just hop in the air vent and shoot them from within the air vent. Unfortunately, that door is also going to lock down, so that is not going to be an option. Those are the types of things I usually try, those little sneaky tricks. But this one, in this case, it's not going to work. So primarily here, what we're going to be using is the shotgun and the sniper rifle. And you're going to want to save your sniper rifle for the last enemy, because the last enemy is going to be tough. The last enemy is a bullet sponge. So here we go. Go ahead and align these frequencies. That will trigger the lockdown. Now what's going to happen is you're gonna want to take a left and climb this ladder. For some reason, when you climb the ladder the first time, the game prompts you to press the X button, and when it does that, it causes you to fall off the ladder. So you see right here, I just fell because of that, and so now I'm going to start climbing once more. The good news is, the enemies can only get up on this walkway from the ladder, so in that regard, you're safe. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip my shotgun, I'm going to stand as close to the ladder as I can, and I'm going to get ready to go to Headshot City. So there's one. There's two. Unfortunately, that was not a headshot. So I killed the first guy, not the second guy. That was a headshot. That was not a headshot. Oh, it looks like that first one wasn't a headshot either. But so now I'm going to start shooting. I'm trying to make it so that they can't even get a footing. I'm trying to kill them before they're even to get up here. Unfortunately, that guy did get up. So I'm going to take out the pistol, start shooting. Now, I don't know how he's still alive. I'm not a big fan of that, but I'm not going to panic. I'm going to take the hit, finish him off with the pistol, heal myself very quickly, and now here comes the last enemy. It is the girl. I don't know why these enemies are strong, but they are. So go ahead and shoot it with the sniper rifle, and now you're going to aim at the ladder, and you cannot let her get up the ladder. Otherwise, you're done for. So aim at the ladder, shoot her off, reload, and then rinse and repeat. This is the last enemy in the area. She is very strong, very tough. And there you go. Once she's dead, you'll be finished with this section. And that's the hardest part of Chapter 4. Let me say something. So when she first came into the area, I said she should not be that strong. I did not mean that. I didn't mean that because right before that I said this is the girl enemy. She should not be that strong. Let me clarify. I didn't mean she shouldn't be strong because she's a girl enemy, because I can already see people freaking out about that in the comments. No, I only mean that she looks like a typical enemy. Like, she doesn't necessarily look any different from any of the other Lost that we've encountered, both male and female. So I don't know why it is that specific type, the ones that wear like a white dress and they have long white hair and they're holding a knife. I don't know what it is that makes those particular ones so strong, but they are really strong. So you have to be careful there, and that's why I decided to save my sniper rifle shots for her so that I could use them to keep her off the ladder. Alright, and so after that fight, you're pretty much done with or you're not done, but that's the toughest part in my opinion, is that fight right there. So now I'm going to go into these rooms that I previously could not go into. There's a couple items you can get. Also, if you backtrack to the previous room, you'll be able to stock up on pistol ammo and shotgun ammo if you didn't grab those already. Now remember, I saved my game near the end of Chapter 3. Ideally, I would have saved my game at the very start of Chapter 4. Looking back, I kind of wish I had done that. The problem is that I'm the one making the walkthrough, so I don't have anyone giving me advice. So I just have to save at the moments that I feel are necessary at that time, and then, you know, you guys get the benefit of seeing where I save, and you can see, you know, if that was a smart save or not, because it's kind of after the fact. So if I were to be replaying this after all the practice I've had, I would have saved at the beginning of Chapter 4. Whoa, sorry, I just jumped a little. Hold on. Okay, so even though you can't tell from just listening to this, I actually just took a break in my commentary. I jumped. You could probably hear it in my voice, and then I said, hold on. So as I was recording, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something flitter across the floor, and when I looked, there was a cockroach on the ground. And I panicked because my room, I'm very clean. I am incredibly clean and organized, so I never see bugs in my room because there's nothing for them to hide under. So there was just all of a sudden a cockroach in my room, and it was near my foot, so I just freaked out for a second. And then I got up, and it scurried behind my entertainment center. So I tried to get it out with a pool cue, and I had to be careful because I had computer cords going everywhere and Xbox cords and shit. So that was like a 10-minute ordeal. But now we're back to The Evil Within 2. Let's not focus on the cockroach scenario. That was funny though. That's one of those things that if this had been like a live stream or something, that would have been pretty embarrassing. But all right, I'm going to show you another trick here. So this is called the ladder trick, and it's pretty hilarious. So you're going to drop down, and ideally you can actually just run past these two enemies. However, I forgot about them, and so they caught me off guard. So you're about to see these two enemies. You can run past them and just run straight for the ladder. However, I panicked, so that is not what I did. But I'm still going to show you how to get past this without killing a single enemy. So check this out. When you're on a ladder, first off, well, this usually doesn't happen, but this enemy, she's going to lose sight of me somehow. Even though I'm just directly above her, she's going to momentarily lose sight of me. And you'll notice that I have an axe in my inventory. So as soon as I get an opening, I'm going to jump down and try to kill her. Now, I don't know how this happens, but sometimes they do not go down with one axe hit, which I think is absurd. But that's what happens here. So I'm going to climb up the ladder. She's going to follow me, and I'm just going to slide right through her. So you might want to rewind that because it's pretty funny, but I literally just slid right through her. And I'm going to do something similar here. So I'm going to climb up this ladder, and watch this. I don't know how this happens, but the enemy climbed through me. So watch this. She just climbed through my body, and now she's going to go back down. And when she goes back down, that's when I'm going to go up and make a run for it. Again, she just climbed through me. I don't know how that happens. That's pretty poor programming if you ask me, but we can use that to our advantage. So I thought it was really funny, and that is what is known as the ladder, or at least what I am going to call the ladder trick. When you are on a ladder, enemies can just go right through you, and that can be very helpful, as you saw right there. I was able to bypass both of those lost without using any resources. I gotta tell you, I really don't like calling them lost. I think haunted was a better word from Evil Within 1, but, you know, I'm gonna stick to what the game intended for me to call them, but I just wanted on the record that I prefer haunted over lost. Alright, so now we're gonna throw on the gas mask that O'Neill gave us, and we're gonna creep through this part of the Marrow. Now, inside, there's only going to be two enemies. There's going to be one regular Lost, and then there's going to be one of the weird ghost-like ones. And both of them aren't very hard to bypass. It's just, you have to be careful because, you know, usually, if an enemy sees you, in the past, we've either shot them or just ran away. In this case, both of those are going to be kind of tough because there's not a whole lot of places you can run to. And you also cannot use weapons here, or at least you can't use your guns because the gas is flammable. So you'll set the whole place ablaze if you shoot. And actually, it doesn't even let you shoot, even if you wanted to. But yeah, so go ahead, and you're gonna see me be very timid here because I had not yet gotten this far. This was the first time that I had actually gotten to this point without dying. And it turns out I actually carried this streak on for a while. So from this point here, I've made it to Chapter 7 without dying. Unfortunately, I didn't know I was not going to die, so I wasted a save, which you'll see in a future video. But that's just what comes with making the walkthrough. You have to kind of blaze the trail in that sense. Alright, so again, I'm just being patient because you'll notice that the view has switched to first person. And I personally don't care for the stealth mechanics of this game, and so in first person they're even harder because you can't rotate that camera to get a better vantage point or to get a better angle. So I personally do not like this section. I think it's kind of tough. But all we have to do is sneak past her. We don't have to kill her because we're never going to come through this area again. So now I'm going to kind of make my move, and again, I kind of messed up. So you're going to see that all I have to do is go straight. So not that way. You can see there's a path straight ahead. For some reason, I didn't see the path, and I thought I was supposed to go left. So you're going to see me right now. I'm going to skip past her, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to jump into this giant sewer vent. And as you can see, it's a dead end. So learn from my mistake. Do not do that. Instead, just keep going straight to save yourself some trouble. Now, luckily, I'm able to bounce back pretty quickly. I'm just going to hang out over here until she turns around. And then I'm going to make a go for it. And to be honest, at this point, if you really wanted to, you could just make a run for it. It's just a little risky, so I wouldn't do it unless you have to. So if she were to just randomly turn around and see you, then you might want to make a run for it. But at this point here, we're pretty good. Alright, so I'm just making sure she's not following me. Now I'm going to go down these stairs, and now our life is about to become easy. This next part's very simple. It's just a little bit time-consuming, which is why you're about to see the video speed up. Because what's going to happen is we're going to have to bypass one of those ghost-like enemies, and she just moves very slowly. So I waited a long time to make my move. So you can see her off in the distance there. She's going to keep walking the same exact path. So what you're going to do is once she goes off to the left here, so you're about to see her go left, once she does that, sneak over here and hide behind these green barrels. Now, like I said, this is just what kind of takes a while, which is why I'm speeding up the video. So I'm going to hide here behind the green barrels, and eventually she's going to return, and she's going to go the opposite way. So she's about to go straight. Once she does that, I'm going to sneak into this hallway here. Now you're going to come to this electrical panel, and you have to do the combination properly. I messed up the combination, and I got worried. I thought she might be close, so instead of trying it again, which I would have easily had enough time for, I decided to hide. Again, why I sped up the video. So I'm just going to wait for her to make one more pass just to be safe. So there she goes past the doorway. She'll turn around and then go back. And there she goes. So now I'm going to get up, and here's the combination. So you're going to want to go, so follow this order here. 4, 2, 1, and that will open the door. Alright, so now we're good to go back. We just have to backtrack a little bit. So again, I probably could have sped this part up too, but that's okay. We're almost done. So again, she's going to go off in that direction. So just follow her and then duck back behind these boxes or the green barrels. And then wait for her to go back into that hallway, and then you're free to move on. And this has been quite an exciting video. So let's go over the events of what have happened here. So first, I did the stupidest thing imaginable, and I wasted a shock bolt to open a door that I had already essentially traveled through. So that was a waste. And then, as I'm recording commentary, I get freaked out by a cockroach. I spend 15 minutes trying to kill said cockroach, and now I just laugh about it to myself. So I should say, just in case you guys are interested, at the time of recording this commentary, I am currently at the start of level 7, and I've used up 3 saves. So I'm in a tough spot. I was trying to get to level 7 only using 2 saves. So unfortunately, I'm already a save behind my plan. But we'll just keep on keeping on. I do have what I think is a pretty good plan for the rest of the game. So my plan right now is to not use another save until the end of Chapter 9. Then I'll go Chapters 10, 11, 12 without using a save. Save at the end of level 12, and then from there I can save at the end of level 14, and then at the end of level 15. And then all I'll have to do after that is the final boss, and that'll be it. So I do have a plan. Again, remember, the saves that I choose to do, those those aren't mandatory. You guys have to decide for yourselves where you think is the best spot to save. If you're a player that plays great under pressure, then maybe you don't need to save as frequently as I did, because you're not as nervous about dying. But for me, I get pretty nervous about those things, and because I'm trying to film this walkthrough before anyone else, I'm kind of blazing the trail, and I don't have anyone to give me recommendations. So in that regard, it gets kind of hard. And I am kind of excited because I've looked up on YouTube, I've looked up walkthroughs for classic difficulty, and I've only seen one by a YouTuber by the name of Shirako. However, from what I can tell, that YouTuber does not specialize on hardest difficulty walkthroughs. They kind of do a lot of different things. And when I looked at his video, I think he said that he's not going to do the whole thing unless the video gets a certain number of likes, which that's something that I'm not really going to remark on. I don't necessarily agree with that approach at all. But so I think at the moment, I don't know how far he got into his walkthrough. He probably got to chapter 3 because that's where most people will probably get before they give up. But, maybe I might be the first person to upload a Chapter 4 video and also a Chapter 5 video because I have a really cool way to get past the Guardian boss. Pretty proud of it, actually. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. All right, so I backtracked to this door here because there's a couple items inside. And now we're good to continue on the path. So we're almost out of the Marrow, and then that will bring us to the end of Chapter 4. In Chapter 5, we're going to visit Town Hall, and in Chapter 5, there are 2 boss fights. There's the Guardian fight, and there's the Obscura fight. And so again, I kind of wish that I had waited to save, but I ended up saving after the Guardian fight, because I just thought the Obscura fight was going to be a lot harder than it actually turned out to be. The Obscura fight is actually pretty simple, if you know the right place to stand, which, again, is something you'll see me do in the next video. But anyway, let's continue on the path that we're supposed to. So we're going to come to this exit door here.
Here it is.
Once inside, there's a couple items you can pick up.
Union.
And this is going to take us to Town Hall. And then once we get to Town Hall, there's going to be one thing for us to do before the end of the video, and then we'll be moving on to Chapter 5. So go ahead. Once again, I'm going to skip the loading screen here, so I'm just going to cut right to when we get to Union, back to Union. We are now out of the Marrow, and you're going to be here. Now, honestly, if you haven't yet saved your game, this would be a good spot to save. I think 5 chapters is plenty, or 4 chapters is a lot. In fact, this was my very initial spot where I planned to do my first save, but as you can see, that ended up not happening. And so now I'm going to prepare myself for the Guardian fight. So I'm going to give myself some ammo. One thing I want to emphasize here is you should definitely have a smoke bolt. If you do not have a smoke bolt, make one, because that's going to come in handy during the Guardian fight. Alright, and now I'm going to come into here. I thought I had some keys to spend, but I think I ended up not having... Or I think I have one key that I picked up at the beginning of this level. So let's see if I was mistaken or not. Maybe this was just a waste of time. No, I do. Okay, I have one key. I can also... nope, can't pick up any pistol ammo. Currently full on that weapon. But I can open another locker. Again, I'm full, but those will come in handy later on. Always good to have some syringes. Alright, done with upgrading. Now we're good to move on towards Chapter 5. So go ahead and leave Sebastian's safe room. Go back to Union. And now just, if you're low on health, or if you've taken any damage at all, feel free to drink some coffee right there to get yourself a free refill. Remember, the coffee brings your health to the maximum, so very helpful. I actually haven't taken a lot of damage so far in this walkthrough. I think I've only been hit twice, which is pretty cool. Alright, so now go outside this door, take a left, and go behind this building, and you'll see another key. So right there. I think that's the 6th key we've picked up now. Is it 6th? I think 6th, maybe 4th, or maybe 5th. But alright guys, so go ahead and just carry on down the street. That's going to trigger some cinematics, and that will eventually lead us right into Chapter 5. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. And take that axe out of the trash. I don't know who put that there. And I'll see you in the next video.